don't know how exactly I want to describe this. I mean, it's hard because it's like, how do you describe the fish? Fish is just, it's a badass fish. Let's go like that. All right. So, I've actually been struggling a bit to talk about this in the way I want to talk about this because it's so meaningful to have a day like this. I want to just do a normal, quick edit together of this video. I wanted to really portray, the all of the effort that went into producing bass like that, and that's something that doesn't happen often at all. To be able to catch bigger fish like that, you have to put in an unbelievable amount of time to make that happen. I almost struggled trying to figure out how I should word this, and the effort that I put in, climbing over rocks, days and days of waking up super early, 4:30 in the morning wake ups, getting up super early, getting out there, no food, no water, just dying to get on these big bass every morning, just trying my hardest to pin down where the bait's going to be. The bait was yesterday, where the bass are going to be today. If I had to describe the fish itself, the power that this bass has and the aggression. I don't fully understand what happened with that first big fish. I saw those schoolie sized to low slot fish pushing around the corner. They came right at me, porpoising out of the water. Everyone saw it, just porpoising bass. I threw in my little spook and I worked it like I would normally, and sure enough, boom, a little schoolie jumps up and whacks it. He gets hooked and it's thrashing around on the surface, and I'm bent the whole time. And then all of a sudden, you just hear this sound of a big bass coming up and hitting the surface. And I didn't think that fish was hooked or anything weird like that, but I went from hooking into a schoolie to then all of a sudden, all hell breaking loose. There's a boulder field, very shallow boulder field I'm fishing into. The rocks were not very deep, and that fish took me right over the top of it. just shows you those bass, those big bass, it's a very common misconception that they're lazy and they're not trying to go out of their way to get food, because that fish did one of three things, and I don't know which. And I saw it live, and I've seen it countless of times. I've watched the video over and over again. I mean, that fish either ate the schoolie that ate my spook, or ripped the plug out of the schoolie's mouth, or the schoolie must have shook the hook maybe, and that bass came in right behind it and sucked it down. All those are just speculations, but I never lost tension to the fish the whole time I was bent. So from hooking that schoolie to then hooking the big fish, there's no slack in my line. I really have no idea how that fish got hooked and what happened, but man, did it take me on a ride. And the power, the just unbelievable power that these fish had. I mean, we had bluefish, but there's nothing like this. It's crazy to think, because there's not a lot of really big fish around, and that's just the sad state of the fishery. And it's unfortunate that we have to deal with a fishery like that. But it was one of those things that every year the fall run to me was always some of my least favorite fishing of the season, because it was just so run and gun. And now, like, it feels like all season is run and gun fishing. I mean, we had the huge bunker schools in the spring that we were chasing down the bass in, and everything is, kind of led to this moment where it's like honing and sharpening those skills of chasing these bass has all led to this moment to be able to actually productively pull big fish. there's nothing like those bass, and the power that those bass have is just remarkable every single time. I can't describe to you the power that those fish have. They when they hook up, they run, and they mean business when they run. Just unbelievable fish. I was saying to myself during one of those fights, like, I have so much respect for this bass and how hard it just fought, because not only did I fight it for a whole few minutes and then get it close to the rock, but then it takes off on another unbelievable run, and I'm sitting there shaking my head like, how does this fish still have energy to do this? And for it to probably break me off. I mean, I had no business catching any of those bass. Basically every single one of them had me either rubbing in rocks, was only hooked by one hook point. All the odds were stacked against me every single time. I didn't really understand how those fish, out of all the bass that I've caught and lost, those fish I didn't lose. How that happened was really something special.